that dog shit pick. What the fuck were we thinking? What the fuck were you thinking?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jimnasium. As always, it's me, XFL Jim, joined by the one, the only, the incomparable, the beautiful, the white James Harden. It is Chase, the Wolf of Oaklawn Sesums, a.k.a. Lupine Fiasco. What's up, dude?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's up is there's certain auditory frequencies that I do not believe that I am able to hear anymore after all of your tornadoes yesterday and the siren.
Well, that's going to become a regular thing.
Yeah, I figured. I'm just going to have to come up with something else.
Yeah, you're going to have to get used to this. I'll play
oh my God.
Yeah, get used to it.
So I'm even turning you down.
Turn me down, Chase, because I have it at 100%. We're starting off with a banger. we're gonna do the show now with the tornado siren going the rest of the time. People listening, turn your volume down.
Yeah. I love that it sounds like something like...
So week 9 of the XFL started off game number 1. We had the Vegas Vipers. No, we're not doing that.
Whew. Okay, I can turn you back up now.
Yeah,
I love how that thing sounds like it's like pull started like a lawnmower or something. It's like
it might be. The video that I took it from makes it look super old timey. So we're gonna do a little. We had a huge spring football weekend.
Yes.
XFL, USFL. There's storylines galore in both. Let's start with the XFL. Vipers, Roughnecks. Roughnecks won it 28-21. I mean, Jalen McClendon's good. The Vipers have fight. Rod Woodson just makes dumb decisions sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. I believe if you were to ask Rod Woodson after this game what the main takeaway was, it was
the bitch rigged it.
The bitch set me up. Yes. He had distinct beef with the female referee that was on his sideline. He's like, it was a goddamn conspiracy against Rod Woodson by the women referees of the world.
We've been speaking of what Eric was asking, I was hungover. No, Eric, I was feeling great today. I felt great. Surprisingly, felt great.
Yeah. We were
kind of
tornadoing those 10 beers.
We were on like the Vegas versus the world train for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I still think maybe to some extent they don't get calls going their way. He's really bought into it. He thinks the whole league's just out to get him.
Yeah, I mean, they've been like very visibly screwed by the league a couple times, but I don't think it's every single time like Rod seems to believe. No, I think Vegas is just going to be good for covering a huge number this season. The last game of the season. That's about it, right?
They'll be good for covering, and I bet they'll be good for another over.
That's really all I can see. Like, them really doing. They're a bad football team is what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Speaking of bad football team, that's kind of how the Roughnecks have looked in these last few weeks. The dumb donkey, Brandon Silvers.
Yeah.
Just not good out there. 2 interceptions. This is another continuation of a trend, by the way.
Yeah.
Vegas, more yards, more first downs, more time of possession. They lose.
Lost the game. Yeah. Yeah, Brandon Silvers, he doesn't look good. I don't have any hope for who you assume would be the team from the South to win in the playoffs. And
So the way they played this week, we'll get to it, but the Renegades are interesting.
The Renegades are very interesting because they might be there on. Well, we'll talk about that. That's a big storyline.
Patriot Sports Radio did comment, said, love this week of the USFL. USFL was also great. We will get to that in a minute.
Yes.
But main takeaways from this game last, overhead. Vegas, dumb decision-making. Houston, they're they've been on a downward trend for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. No John Trey Kirkland.
That was the big swing for them. Is once he must have been the glue holding everything together.
Yeah. It made the offense run. He was just always always open.
Also, shout out the XFL. It's like 3 weeks in a row of just still really close games. We say the Vegas is done, but the games are still really fun and close.
True.
Game number 2, Guardians Brahmas. Brahmas win at 25-23 to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Just win. God,
the Brahmas can make the playoffs, Chase. How does that make you feel?
The most dangerous thing that can happen to me is these weeks where I really just start believing in the Guardians. You know, like there's the week you talked me into the Guardians where I was like, yeah, I'm for the Guardians, and then they were terrible. And then there was this week where I was just organically on the Guardians.
Well, it was a combination of on the Guardians, and we were really, really low on the Brahmas. Shout out SPHL Rando.
Yeah. So I think I should just stay away from games that have the Brahmas or the Guardians in them, because I don't think I'm right with those teams anytime. But yeah, I mean, good for the Brahmas, I guess. They're still in the playoff hunt. They don't look good.
I'm gonna say it kind of probably came down to like Quentin Dormady probably got hurt a little bit.
I think so. He got popped a couple times.
He got popped pretty good, and I think that's probably the big difference here.
Yeah.
The Guardians, I expect at least a little better defense. You can't let Jack Cohn throw for over 300 yards.
How? I didn't know that we lived in a universe where Jack Cohn could throw for 300 yards. Like, did that break something in space whenever that happened?
I believe so. Anytime I feel like the Brahmas will win anytime Jack Cohn throws over 200 yards.
God, that's like in dog years, how his years are like 7 years. That's like the equivalent of like 3,000 yards.
Yeah,
like
his
Jack
yards
Cohn
are yards. Like, you got to convert to like the Jack Cohn system.
Yeah, just that's ridiculous. He might die tomorrow. Like, he used up all of his magic there.
His arm might fall off.
Yeah, completely.
Renegades Defenders, great game. Defenders win this one 28-26. Continuation, the Renegades are just like a brand new offense with Luis Perez. 335 yards against this DC defense? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man. They looked absolutely great. They're completely different. It's like they've started getting just exponentially more production out of their wide receivers since Luis Perez, rode into town. Like, I couldn't have told you who any of the receivers were before. I mean, I still can't, but they be catching passes now.
They do. Letty Brown, that sounds like an old black woman from like a 60s film.
Yeah, it does.
Tyler Vaughns. I think I went to high school with that guy.
Okay.
I know Brandon Arconato just because his name pops up.
Just because his name is Arconato, yeah.
Yeah. The trend continues, by the way. Renegades have more yards, more first downs, more time of possession, lose the game.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's just because of defensive touchdowns, right? That's what it always comes down to, is that the teams are outscored by like 2 defensive touchdowns. Yeah,
it's defensive touchdowns or it's turnovers, because they did have a turnover. It's a lot of turnovers sometimes, yeah. But we've said it these last couple of weeks, the Renegades are looking way better.
They are.
And they're in a situation where they win and they're in. They play Houston this week.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the lines yet. We will look at the early lines to see what's up.
Yeah.
I like Arlington.
I mean, the Brahmas have to win too, right?
The Brahmas have to win and the Renegades have to lose.
Right.
So the Brahmas have to beat DC.
Right. But if they both lose,
then the Renegades are in.
But still, like, I kind of like to see what Luis Perez and this team can do on the back-to-back with Houston. I think that could be really dangerous. I really want Houston to beat them here, and then the Brahmas lose to DC, and then the Renegades get another crack at them and hammer them then. That's what I would like to see.
So they'd be 5-5? No, there's not a chance. I was going to say, if they had won against DC, Houston Houston did lock in. They both locked in home field advantage. Houston, DC this week. Game of the week, Seattle Sea Dragons, St. Louis Battlehawks. All the storylines going into it.
Yeah.
AJ McCarron returns.
Maybe the least exciting game of the week, too.
Yeah, probably the least exciting game of the week.
Yeah, just the Battlehawks looked
flat.
Good. Yeah, they looked flat. They just seemed to be doing the exact same thing. They got taken taken advantage of a couple times on defense.
Speaking, who was the guy that Ben DiNucci trucked and like stood over in the end zone? Because that guy has to commit suicide.
Oh yeah, he was disappointed when his soul floated back into his body because he had to live down what just happened.
You have to commit like some ritualistic suicide when Ben DiNucci just owns you like that.
When he just flexes on you like that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, brother. Yeah, that's a bad look. That's a hard L to take for anybody. That's a real hard L for anybody to take.
Sea Dragons look good.
They
Battlehawks
did.
flat.
They did. And so what's the scenario now?
I still think it's well, me personally, I think all three teams in the North are basically even with just like very little separating them. I think they're all really good.
Right. Yeah.
So what it comes down to is I'm pretty sure this is the reason that Seattle elected to kick that field goal to end the game. Is if they both win next week, it comes down to the differential of points for and points against.
Right.
Which, let me just check the trusty handbook. Adam Spiny Giant on Twitter for sending me the stats every week.
Woody woot, thank you. That
I have this exact right here of who has the better odds. So, let's see. Okay. So, yes, if they both win or both lose next week, so Seattle still needs to win this game.
Okay.
If they both win or both lose, point differential for St. Louis right now, plus 22.
Okay.
Sea Dragons, it's plus 47.
Okay.
So basically, if they both win or both lose, Seattle's in.
Okay.
It's still a shame that one of these teams has to miss it.
It is. It is an absolute shame. I don't know. I still feel like St. Louis has looked like the better, more complete team the entire time. But the thing with Seattle is, like, all right, St. Louis more complete. Seattle, though, like, seems to hit these stretches, like, when they get really hot, they play really hot football. And no matter how many times they turn it over, they still can just come out and just smoke another XFL team.
Yeah, Seattle has these like moments in games for like drives or quarters where they're the best team in the XFL, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to see what happens when DiNucci and what's his name? Smokes a lot of weed.
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon got back on the same page, you know? Like, they just got back into the flow where he can just chuck it up towards Josh Gordon, and Josh Gordon can just be like, okay, I'm bigger and faster and better than everyone on the field. Like, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous that they're hooking that back up at this point in the season.
Yeah, he only had two catches for 46 yards, but I mean, like, once he's hooking it back up, then they got to focus him, and then you have Ja'Cour Pearson that goes off.
Right. And Ja'Cour Pearson is, dude, not only is he good at just running routes, getting open, and making catches, God, is he slippery. Is he slippery and hard to catch. They've got a couple of guys that are just extremely hard to tackle, you know?
How many interceptions does Ben DiNucci have to throw for them to lose?
It's always 3. The number is always 3.
The 3 is the magic number. They only got him to 1.
He can always outlive 2.
He could really outlive.
He can easily outlive 1.
Because he'll do the dumbest interception you've ever seen, and then 3 plays later throw an absolute dime of a pass.
Yeah. How about just the backbreaker that was the back-to-back interceptions in this game, though?
Yeah.
Like, it was St. Louis. St. Louis was back in it. They had their chance, and then just like first play, tipped right to him. Just unfortunate.
I wonder if this is just him kind of getting over the injury. AJ McCarron coming back. I kind of hope they make it, but I would be fine with. I think either one of these teams is going to put up a good fight against DC.
They both deserve to be there, and DC is looking kind of wobbly these days, aren't they?
Little bit.
A little bit wobbly.
Speaking of getting banged up, Tom has been taking a beating these last couple games, too.
Yeah, he has.
But there was another league going on this weekend, Chase. Had a little USFL. This is the league that really caused all the tornadoes to happen with the missed field goals. Still haven't fixed the kicking. Still haven't fixed the kicking in the USFL, have we?
That was so great when someone asked us. They were like, "Okay, what teams are the better players, the XFL or the USFL?" We're like, "Well, it's not fair. You can't just say one or the other. You give the nod in certain position groups." And we didn't even talk about kickers. Though we've known for a while, USFL kicking was pretty, as the kids say, sus. Pretty sus on the kicking. And there's to a T. There was our story right there in the first game.
I mean, it was super easy.
Yeah, dude.
Super easy to figure out.
Yeah.
Game number 1, Philadelphia Stars, Memphis Showboats. Banger of a game. Stars and Case Cookers look like they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
Showboats look much improved from last year.
Yeah. I'm just sorry. I'm thinking about all these missed kicks. And I'm just laughing thinking of your tornadoes.
There were so many missed kicks.
Yeah. So kicking was an issue. So the Showboats, I give them credit. They looked a whole lot better than I thought they were actually going to look. Because I hated everything that Todd Haley did last year. But, second year, pretty good team. Brady White looked okay. Cole Kelly looked okay-ish when he was in. Alex Collins looks fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely great. Love Alex Collins, and he looks great running the ball. But yeah, I think they just ran into a team that was a little bit better. Just a little bit better with the
SPHL says kicking wasn't sus, though. I mean, the kicking in the USFL is a little suspect.
Yeah.
Like, the league as a whole is great. Kicking leaves a little, there was, 3 teams that last year that had consistent kickers?
Yeah. Yeah. It took, the first few weeks, no one could make a kick last year, it seemed like.
Yeah, that chip in the ball really threw everyone off their game.
Yeah, it did.
Hey, we got a little trend going on here, too, Chase. Guess what?
What?
So total yards for each team. Memphis edged them out. Yards per play.
Nice.
Here's where Philadelphia gets in. Red zone attempts, they had double. They had 4 to Memphis's 2.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 red zone touchdowns to Memphis's 1. Probably a couple turnovers. Turnovers. Shout out Shannon Stribling, just immediately back on his shit.
Oh my God, yeah. That was just perfect. Just, I can't remember. Yeah, it was always Channing Stribling was what we decided
it was always,
on Twitter. It was always Channing Stribling.
It was never not going to be Channing Stribling.
He is so huge. He is a gigantic defensive back. How tall is he? He's way taller than most defensive backs, man. I swear he's like 6'3".
Let's see. He's 6'2".
That's big.
That's pretty big.
That's big, man. He's got ball skills. He's got big size. Man, he should be in the NFL.
He tweeted something out today too that I was.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. He tweeted something out, kind of like being a little upset, I believe. Oh, he deleted it.
Oh,
it was something about the plane ride home. They said it was sketchy, and he was tweeting at the USFL, and it was like, stop with this cheap shit. Just calling out the league, and I love that in a player.
Channing is all in his feelings.
Yep. Great way to start the season, though. Next game, General Stallions. A little bit of a letdown, in my opinion, for a game.
I completely agree. I was very much let down by this one, but I mean,
the Stallions are great.
That's the thing is, the Stallions have just I didn't think that the Stallions were a very good team last year at all, up until they won the championship. I was at the end, I was like, okay, I guess they're kind of good.
Thanks, SPHL Radio. He updated it was the airline's fault. Fuck the airline. Fuck you, Delta, probably.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Stallions haven't missed a beat. That defense is so good.
Yeah, they are very good. They have a great running offense. They're able to throw the ball around too, man. They looked pretty complete, and unlike last year, I give them their due. They look like the very best team in the league, and I have no reason to think that anyone will take that crown from them.
Yeah, I feel like based on if we went week 1, it would just be a rematch of last year's championship game. I think the Stars and the Stallions look like the 2 best teams week 1.
They literally got everybody back.
They got so many people back.
they literally got just everyone back, and it's insane.
And the dumbest part is if either one of these quarterbacks gets hurt, I feel like the other one can just slot in pretty damn well. Like Magoo looked pretty good out there as well. Jamar Smith is a dude. The offensive and defensive lines are insane. The Generals' defense is still decent, but man, I didn't think the drop-off at quarterback would be this severe. DeAndre Johnson didn't look great.
There was a moment in this game where Magoo was giving lip back to the bench and to Skip Holtz. And like,
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and Holtz hit him with the very clear like daddy stank eyes, like and like he was like immediately just started apologizing, and I was like, all right, that's what I like. That's right. You don't cross USFL coaching legend Skip fucking Holtz.
No, you don't. I just for the Generals positive, Darius Victor's still really good.
Yes. Oh man. Broke a big run. Looks good. Just a little bowling ball. Gotta love him.
Love him. The receiving core needs a little work, especially now. It looks like they lost Pearson L with a non-contact injury.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. This team has to work on some things. Peru Cup might be the guy. I don't know.
They seem to move the ball pretty well with Peru Cup. They didn't seem to lose anything, and they seem to get a lot of just like, rushing capability out of him. He's very mobile,
You also can't spot a team an instant touchdown and expect to lose all momentum. So
yeah, but I just based off of how good this game was last year, like it was just hard to see it get out of hand like it did.
Yep. Panthers Gamblers. Panthers end up winning this one 29-13. I believe Josh Love was named the USFL Offensive Player of the Week.
Dude, just watch the fuck out for the Michigan Panthers this year.
Watch out.
They might be a player to win the North this year. Who knows? Like, it's tough to tell based off who they played. Like, it was really tough this was a big question mark game where you had another one where you had two brand new coaching staffs,
brand new quarterback. Well, not Kenji Bahar's not brand new, but brand new coaching staffs. The Gamblers, the thing with them is we talked about this. I previewed this with Eric when we were talking about teams that were bringing back a lot, like the Stars bringing back a lot, the Stallions, the Generals. The Gamblers, their big thing last year was their great defense. They lost a lot on defense.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah, it shows. And I mean, but kudos to, was it Mike Nolan is coaching the Panthers now?
Yes.
Shout out to Mike Nolan and the Panthers for coming in and performing like what the year 2 USFL programs performed like. You know what I'm saying? Like the other, teams that had first year coaching staffs, they performed like they had first year coaching staffs.
Yep.
But that Panthers team was, they look like they could compete with anybody right now.
They look great, and we'll talk about this when we do our little power rankings here at the end. We'll have to power rank the XFL and USFL too. Maulers Breakers to cap it off. 22-15 for the Breakers. I think this was a banger game. I think this was a great way to end the weekend.
Yeah.
Maulers were the team we knew the least about.
Yeah, they were, and just they won a rock fight at the end of the day is what it came down to with the Breakers. Like they just won a rock fight. They just finally put it together at the end whenever no one was really doing anything. I think you had just like two incredible defensive lines.
The defensive lines were just
wrecking shit. Yeah, just wrecking shit.
Beautiful. Quarterbacks were dying left and right, but that's the big thing. The Maulers, both quarterbacks and both offensive lines were getting destroyed. But when you have someone with experience, with perseverance, like McLeod Bethel Thompson, he threw 41 passes. He only completed 23 of them, but they kept trying. He had 300 yards.
Yeah. Yeah. The passing game looks so, if you had just watched the first half of that game,
it was disgusting.
You never would have believed that he had rebounded to throw for 300 yards. Like everyone just looked off sync. Like nothing looked good except for like the first drive, and then everything went to crap. But yeah, it just you will be able to definitely have another like nasty Breakers defense to rely on again this year.
I think so. I think the Breakers are setting up in a good position, and I think the Maulers, if they can drag these teams into rock fights.
Yeah,
they'll have the Maulers could have a shot in every game, even with a subpar offense.
Yeah, as opposed to the team that just, last year that was just like rolled over and let you pelt it with rocks. You know,
Literally, how to
they
lose a
were rock
locker room
fight
in 0 days.
that just got fucking massacred. Yeah,
Read Kirby Wilson's like diary of how to lose a team in 0 days.
right. It involves kicking people off of teams for deli products.
So stupid. So let's do our little power rankings, then we'll look ahead to the future just a smidge. XFL first.
Okay.
Bottom. Are we going Vipers at the bottom?
I'm gonna go with, at this point, I'm gonna go with Vipers on the bottom because it just seems like the Guardians have shown more fight than anybody else. Like they've actually,
it's close. It's close.
Yeah, like it's like the people who are still playing for the Guardians are definitely like bought in. They are the zealots at this
also,
point.
We have to put the Vipers at last because the Dreader doesn't have dreads.
Yes, yeah, complete. It's a Samson and Delilah situation.
Yeah, Caven question. Guardians up next though, right?
Yes, most definitely.
Then the Brahmas probably.
Has to be the Brahmas, yeah.
Okay, now it gets interesting.
Yes, it does.
Do we?
I think at this point, I
feel like it's 1A, 1B here. You could put the Roughnecks or the Renegades here, and I wouldn't fault you too much.
But the thing is, like, are we doing this based off what we've seen or what we're projecting? Because if we're doing off of what we're projecting, then
no, we gotta do what we've seen. We gotta do
then what we've seen.
We'll put the Renegades.
You have to put the Renegades and then the Roughnecks on top.
Renegades, Roughnecks, and then I put the Battlehawks probably.
Yeah, just based off the head-to-head, you have to.
Yeah, and then Sea Dragons, then Defenders at top.
Yep.
Now for the intriguing one, because week 9 power rankings, you kind of know what you got.
Yeah, we know what we have. There was no fight on that one at all. So.
No, you could like flip the Renegades and Roughnecks, and I wouldn't fault you.
No.
USFL.
Okay.
Bottom team. Gamblers?
It's sad to say, even though they're much improved, it's either Gamblers or Maulers.
Generals? Generals?
Maybe. Okay.
I was going to say the Gamblers or the Generals.
Until you said it in that tone of voice, that was kind of questioning. I might. Ooh.
The Generals' offense just looks so bad.
That's so. Yes. Okay.
They did play probably like one of the best defenses, but still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the Gamblers at the bottom.
Yeah, because you can't do the Maulers. You can't do the Maulers because their defensive line looks so good.
It just looked like that. If you could be a half team and be really good.
Yeah, like that defensive line, they're gonna wreck some shit. So I think maybe you go New Jersey 7th.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
okay.
I'd go Gamblers, Generals, and then I'd go. I'd probably go Maulers under Showboats.
Yeah, I agree.
So then you have the Breakers, Stallions, Stars, Panthers. I think I put the Breakers on the bottom of that based off of week 1.
Yes, I'm a Breakers fan. I'm an owner of a Breakers future. But I'll tell you what, don't feel great about it. Don't think they really got the mojo yet. Though,
they could very easily come together, though.
They could very easily come together, but it didn't look just as promising as it did last year.
But I think they have the pieces.
Yeah, but they also might have just run into an elite defensive line.
Also true. Now is interesting. Stars, Panthers, Stallions. So I think we're both in agreement. We're putting the Stallions on top, right?
Stallions on top. And I think you're literally interchangeable between the Stars and the Panthers for 2-3.
1, I think so.
Like they're like co-2.
I would say that. I'd say they're probably 2A, 2B.
Yeah.
So if you go by the rankings right now, the division rankings, Panthers are first in the division because of points for and whatnot, the point differential.
Yeah.
But they're both really good.
Yeah, they are both. They're both really good. Like, I was really impressed with what we saw with Michigan. I was glad that we were right about Michigan, that they were going to be the ones that kind of put it together. God, it was so good to see Alex Collins running the ball. I know
USFL week 1 level of play was amazing. So happy with it.
Yeah, like that was excellent football. I think that was excellent football. Like, I was so impressed by just like by the first game. By the first game, I could tell how big of a step forward USFL year 2 was, and it made me excited about XFL year 2. Like, there's going to be a step forward there too, obviously.
I'm just so hype.
Speaking about things you should be hyped for, like, listen, man, your team got the coach.
Okay, we're gonna pivot before going to the fucking early lines and futures.
Yeah.
Old school blonde Herbie Husker is back, Nebraska fans. We're never losing again.
You get your blonde Herbie Husker back. Like, you're so excited. And I saw the Herbie Husker hype video, his own hype video.
Oh, dude, it was good.
It was good.
It was good.
Pulling that old Husker Bible out of that drawer full of corn. Come on.
All the old mascots and everything.
All this. There were some super weird ones back in the day.
We used to be the bug eaters, I think.
Bizarre. But yeah, you sent me that, and I listen, as someone who loves the slobbering hog, I completely get it. I'll tell you what, I like your Herbie that wears the wrestling singlet, because it looks like his rule is if he catches you, he fucks you.
He will fuck you. He will fuck you.
Yeah, dude. But so I figure you've got the coach. Like, you're excited about the hire. You feel like they just dusted off old, Aryan Herbie Husker.
So
there's a lot to be excited about. I want you to let your emotions run
in the Husker trenches and whatnot. We've all been talking. A big thing that Nebraska fans have talked about for the last I'd say 20 years. We feel like a cursed program, and there's two things that we feel like really have cursed us really bad. One was changing Herbie Husker from the blonde beauty that he was to what he's been these last couple years.
Yeah, which is just a regular
ass muscle dude with a cowboy hat, not nearly as cool.
Yeah.
And number two was the way we treated Frank Solich on his way out.
Okay.
So first off, they bring Frank Solich back for the spring game. They put him in the Nebraska Hall. They put him in the Cornhusker Hall of Fame.
Okay.
They give him the award what he's due, because he was objectively one of the best coaches we've had in the last 30 years.
You guys are making full Curse of the Bambino amends here.
And we finally remedy that, and we finally remedy the Herbie Husker curse. Nebraska will never lose again.
They will never lose again.
Nebraska to win the Big Ten. What's the future for Nebraska to win the Big Ten?
It's that whatever it is, it's too much. It's too much value that they're
I'm looking it up right now. Big Ten conference futures, because I will bet so much. I'll bet too much money. I'll bet too much money.
Damn it, Jim! You have expenses to think about now.
Okay, 20. That's 20. Come on, give me. They don't have them out yet. When they get conference futures out.
Yeah, dude.
What's Nebraska to win the NCAA champ? What's to win the championship, national championship?
It's like 1,000,000 to 1.
So here's Arkansas is 200 to 1.
Yeah.
We're 250.
By the way, Sixers covered the -11.
I'm gonna put $50 on Nebraska to win the national championship.
Get it, man.
That's how I'm at that level. So I was talking with my buddy. We were texting back and forth with what do you think the scale is for hype? And I was like, okay, I'd say it's a 5-point scale for college fandom.
Yeah.
1 is your tentative. 2 is cautiously optimistic. 3 is realistic.
Yeah.
4 is optimistic, maybe a little biased, obviously.
Yeah.
5 is blind. It's a big jump from 4 to 5 where you're just blind.
Yeah.
If you go to 6, you're crazy. I'm at 5 right. I was at a 2. I was at a 2 yesterday.
Now you're at
I talked with my dad over the weekend, and I was like, you know what? It'll be a successful season if we just beat Colorado.
I like to think that you were you're sitting down and eating a roast with your father and your mother, and you're both just cutting and salting and peppering your potatoes, and you're just you looked up at him, you're like, it would just make the world great. As if I woke up tomorrow, I pulled up Twitter, and I looked and I saw that the blonde Herbie the Husker was back. And
it made it so that nothing bad could happen today.
Just boom, everything Everything is a little bit better when it's a little bit blonder, I guess.
Everything is. And it will continue to be. And Nebraska will win the division and will win the conference. Fuck you, Ohio State. Fuck you, Michigan. We're going to make Jim Harbaugh drop his pants and take a shit on the field. That's how embarrassing it's going to be for him.
I love it. Let's see it. I want to see it.
I'm going to have so much irrational confidence, and then it will be crushed. And I'm ready for it.
I'm with you until it's until they lose, and then I'm going to be realistic about it.
That's fair. Also, a bunch of people were posting under that video, Nebraska 20 once again repeating as the offseason national champions. I think we're on a three-peat for offseason national championships in football.
There we go. All right, so early lines.
Well, let's take a look at futures real quick for both of them.
Okay.
XFL futures, Defenders 140, Roughnecks 250, Sea Dragons 5, Battlehawks 550, Renegades at 14-1.
They could easily backdoor into the championship, right?
I might take a little bit on that Renegade. There's value there.
I wouldn't blame you. They could backdoor into it. They played well. They played well against against the best team in the best division.
They finally also gotten rid of the Vipers and the Guardians futures.
Right.
They've had it for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
Brahmas at 25-1. Hate it.
Yeah, wouldn't touch it.
Hate it. Okay, game lines for the XFL. I want you to guess the line, Chase. Guardians, Battlehawks in St. Louis.
I'm going to go St. Louis 7.5 favorites.
You were almost right on. It's 8. You were right on it.
Okay.
St. Louis -8, over under 47.5.
Yeah, I would go with the over, and I would go with the points, because I think that they're going to be out there. They're going to be trying to score a shit ton of points.
They're going to try and just dad dick the Guardians.
Yeah,
they're going to really try here.
Yeah.
Defenders, Brahmas on the road. DC on the road at San Antonio. This one's a little surprising.
I'm going to have DC as a 3.5 point favorite.
Yep, again, right on the money there. A 3-point favorite going to San Antonio. Over under a 42.
That feels like an under.
It does, but man, I don't fucking know. DC.
Did you really tell me that Jack Corn is going to spin the bean for 300 yards again?
Yes, but DC hasn't gone. They've only gone under in one game the entire season.
That's a good point. That's true. They're nothing but the overnators. It's
They're
insane.
the biggest
Their
overnators.
defense is that good, and they do nothing but get overs.
It's because their offense is also really good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Roughnecks, Renegades.
Roughnecks, Renegades.
Total's also 42.
Total's also 42. I'm going to say it is Roughnecks by 1.5.
Close-ish. It's a pick'em.
It's a pick'em?
It's a straight-up pick'em.
Okay.
I might take the Renegades at home. Vipers, Sea Dragons. Sea Dragons also trying to just dad dick the Vipers here.
Yeah, so I'm going to say...
The worst two teams are against the two teams that really are trying to score a lot of points on them.
I'm going to say Sea Dragons 9.5.
8.5. It's 8.5 here.
Okay.
Total set at 47. I'm going to take that over.
Yeah, that would also be an over for me.
These lines, week 10's tricky.
I feel pretty confident though that I kind of guess I was pretty.
You were right on the money with the lines, but man, 8 is perfect because
yeah, because they're going to be trying to score. It's like a soccer game where they go by aggregate by round. So in one game, the one team might be down by 2 goals going into it, so they need to score 5. They have to win by 5 to actually win to move on. That's kind of what it feels like. So it feels like it'd be tricky to pick anything to happen in them.
The only thing I'm confident about the XFL are probable overs.
Yes,
I feel like they're really going to try for points.
Yeah, that definitely. But I don't know if you end up pressing so hard that you put yourself into a shootout somehow.
I know, I kind of want to take the Guardians and the Vipers here because they're playing with no stress, and the Battlehawks and Sea Dragons are playing with all the pressure.
Right.
The issue you run into. If St. Louis loses, then
that's it. They're done.
No, because Seattle could potentially lose too.
That's true, but I feel like they're done if they lose.
If they lose, they're probably done. So Seattle might coast a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird spot to be in. But if
Yeah.
St. Louis wins, Seattle has to win.
Like I think you learn because they don't play on the same day, right?
St. Louis plays first. So
yeah, so I think you wait on what St. Louis does before you even touch what happens in the Seattle game.
probably.
Like that, and the line will probably move precipitously based on that. So like, if Seattle win or St. Louis wins and scores a bunch of points, like expect that spread to jump up, and maybe if you're, a Seattle backer, get on them now while it's low. That sort of thing. That's kind of how you have to game it out. Like you really have to be a little bit of a fortune teller of what's going to happen in the St. Louis game and kind of let it dictate when you take what you're going to take in the Seattle game.
Let me see.
By the way, we need the Kings to round out.
I don't get so the XFL already has their futures up, but the USFL is being really slow putting their futures up again.
See, and that's all I can see is the futures for that league.
Do they have updated futures, or is it basically the same?
It's basically the same.
Okay, then we're not even going to talk about it. Game lines for the USFL. I like you guessing these lines, Chase. Gamblers at Breakers.
Gamblers at Breakers. I'm going to say Breakers are a 2.5 point favorite.
Ooh, you're way better with the XFL. 5.5 for the Breakers.
Ooh, that's a bad line.
That's wild. Total set at 39.
I probably like the Gamblers at that.
I might like them at plus 5.5 too. I might take that under though. They did lose by a ton to the Panthers, but I don't know if the Breakers are there yet. Showboat Stallions. 44.5 is the total, highest total of the weekend.
And I'm going to say Stallions by 7.5.
8.5.
Okay. Not far.
Showboat showed a decent amount of fight, and they even had a ton of turnovers and penalties. So
it might be an under too, just because of how well they run the ball.
That might be an underplay.
Just
Generals,
what they were like. Alex Collins was just chewing them up,
It could. Generals, Maulers.
I'm going to say Generals, but by 3.5.
It's 2.5, but I still think I might take the Maulers straight up.
It wouldn't be a bad play. It would
Plus
be
115 on the money line.
It would be a good spot to get them because if they sneak up and like play another close game, you're not going to get value in the next game when they finally do win.
Exactly. 36.5 is the total, and that's right on the edge.
Oof.
That's right on the edge.
Yeah.
Game of the week: Panther Stars already getting this.
Panthers Stars. I'm gonna go once again Stars by 2.5.
Stars 3, so right on the money with that one. Basically, 42.5 is the total. I'm gonna take the over in this one.
Yeah, these both look like well-oiled offenses.
They look really good. 3. I might take the Panthers.
I might take them too. I might actually take the Panthers straight up. Quite honestly,
there's value there. I don't hate that. If this line moves at all to like a closer bit, I might double up. I might take the Stars.
Yeah.
I like a lot of dogs this week in the USFL.
I do too. I think it's going to take them a little bit to figure things out, and you really just kind of have to apply the eye test and what you think of, say, like, for example, what you thought of the Maulers' defensive line, and if that really they're just that tough and the Breakers are due to break out, or,
it's hard.
Yeah.
You gotta worry about potentially doing week 2 overreactions.
Yeah, it's hard to go just like off of one set of stats. Like it's it's very hard. It's very easy to overreact to overinflated stats because they're just from one game.
Chase, we're gonna have another great weekend of just so much football to watch.
So much football.
I might die.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So make sure you guys tune in to the streams that happen on Saturdays and Sundays for the games and whatnot. I'm live streaming every XFL, every USFL game.
Yeah.
It's fun. We've kind of tinkered with it a little bit these last couple weeks. They've been growing organically.
Yeah. There's roulette.
There's roulette. There's tornadoes.
There's tornadoes. There's a DJ sound drop.
There's karaoke.
There's me. There's Jim. There's Uncle Rico.
announcement. I think you had the nail on the head for my Memorial Day thing. I might do a 24-hour dance party.
You're gonna do a 24-hour dance party?
I might try and do a 24-hour dance party.
Holy shit! All right.
That's got to be like the safest thing we've come up with, right?
It's got to be, but it sounds like it could be rough, man. How are you gonna get through this?
Lots of music, energy drinks, and willpower.
Dance. You're gonna do a dance and pee.
I could dance and pee. Yeah, I'll have my phone in the bathroom with me,
dude. I can't wait for the dance and poop. I know how much you poop.
There might be bathroom breaks. I took bathroom breaks for the other streams.
That's fair. You might be allowed that little one bit of decency. We might allow you that. That's awesome. I feel like you need someone there to like take your vitals every now and then and everything. Like, do you have
Question is, should I start at
nurse?
midnight then? Should I start at midnight?
You just go midnight to midnight? Midnight
to midnight?
Oh, God, and just right into a daylight rave. That's amazing.
I'm thinking that's the play. That's where we're at right now.
Midnight to midnight. Yeah. No, I like it. Are you going to have costume changes?
Duh. Who do you think I am?
Is there going to be a theme? Can I make you a playlist?
So the thing is, yes, you can make me a playlist. I was gonna have a playlist going, but since I think I'm just gonna do it on Twitch so that we can play the music and have it be actual music.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna have the playlist, and then anyone can just request songs, and I'll probably play them.
Okay. I'll submit a full playlist for you. You're gonna get so crunk, Jim.
So I will take your playlist. I will take my playlist. I will take suggestions, but it's gonna be on the XFL Jim Twitch.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be kind of like just trying it out, seeing how it goes.
I'm looking. Don't give a damn.
I'm also looking right now, to see
what.
I'm checking the status of our little item that we ordered off of Etsy last night when I was kind of drunk.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
The rumor masks.
Yeah,
baby. Let them
come. I love the reviews for that, by the way.
They were good.
The review, that's what really sold it. The obviously purchased reviews.
Hey, they were obviously purchased. I want to see. I'll pull some of them up. The quality of the ski mask is amazing. I needed it under short notice, and they were able to get it to me on time. Thank you so much. I'm forever grateful and can't recommend the store enough. That's a robot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Came sooner than I thought. The printing is a slick gold. Came with an extra ski mask the seller threw in as well. And the purple King Cobra ski mask. Damn, more than what I expected. I think that one was real.
That's how it sounds. Yeah, that sounds real.
These are great quality and fast shipping. Oh, ordering now.
Listen, if they threw those in for that person's order, like just think of how many of those you ordered. Like, what are you gonna get?
I mean, the ones with pictures are obviously real.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I can't believe that those people are real and would just send a picture of themselves on Etsy like that.
It looks so fucking gangster.
It really does. Exactly what I needed. 5 stars. What do you need it for? So that reminds me. Okay, before we sign off, I just had to tell you about this Twitter comment I saw.
Okay.
It was about these people, like, it was about saying the N-word, and they were just like, when the context is fine, and there's like, it's never been a good context. Yeah. I had to say it one time, and I remember that, I said it one time, but I had to. And I remember that day every day. It's burned into my memory. It's like, what did you have to say it for?
What? You don't ever have to.
What did you have to say it for?
I was riding in a car. It was 2000. We were listening to Nelly. All my friends were rapping along. I decided to join.
And I had to.
They all looked at me. I had to say it.
I think that'll do it for the Gymnasium.
Oh my God.
Chase, what do you got going on?
I'm around.
You're around. Also, we maybe beside the horn, new favorite sound effect. I don't remember why I have that, but I have it.
Oh my god.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. The theme of the year is we're gonna get weird. We're getting weird this year. 2023, we're getting weird. Love you guys. Bye.